Hey guys, Alex Russell with the Detail Solutions Podcast. I'm here with Mike Phillips. Hey Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good, buddy. So you were the guinea pig for the first ever MTE paint correction competition.
Yes.
What'd you think?
First of all, I love the idea. You know, here at Mobile Tech Expo, we've always had the dent pulling competition and a number of the other ones that really involved, the industry at Mobile Tech Expo, but we never had a paint correction competition. So now that you guys have developed this format, we can learn from anything that needs to be tweaked and then advance it forward. And it's just going to give a lot of guys in the industry to come here and prove they got the right stuff.
Exactly.
All right, Sheldon, we did it. We finally did it. we put together a paint correction competition. How are you feeling about it, buddy?
Like you said, we got it done. 90% of the problem is just starting. So we've been talking about it for so long. It felt great just to finally get there. Honestly, Mike Phillips was the very first contestant. Seeing him pick up that polisher and then saying go, I was like, I don't know if I want to look. I don't know if I want to run away. Like, just please work with all the weird engineering things we did. But we got it done. And to grade us personally, I'd give us like an 8 out of 10. So pretty good. There's definitely some improvement to be had and possibly some more competitions. But you know what? We got it done. We had awards. Everyone competed successfully. We had successful judging. And at the end of the day, we have 1 year under our belt, and it's just going to get better.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, my probably favorite quote from this weekend was actually when I was talking with Rennie Doyle, and he said, done is better than perfect, so were we perfect? By all means, no, but we did it, so that's to me better than perfect. Because again, it's been a long time coming, and so that was kind of going to be my next question for you. I mean, like 4 years ago when I started this podcast and met you and had you on to talk about MTE, you were kind of like, nope, not doing a competition. We're not dealing with it. And to kind of like wear you down over the years, I feel like, are you glad that it took this long to kind of do it? Or do maybe now you maybe you're like, oh, we should have done this years ago?
Yes and no. Again, there's a big factor is just starting and trying something.
Yeah.
But I was so worried about the subjective judging of it and the egos that come along with that. And I think it was really the turning point for me is when I heard about the detail meter. So like shout out to Row Point there. But having a truly non-subjective, technology-driven piece that can measure so much and in multiple areas to give us a large, good average, to me that took away all the egos. And of course, there's still going to be some things, but I feel like we waited for the right time. We did so much research ahead of time and, did so much prep as thinking through all the variables that we could. I think we did it right, definitely with like the council we built and having all the different opinions. And I feel we're going to get a lot of opinions from the outside now that we have one done. But no, I'm very happy with how long we waited and the success we had.
Nice. So in the aftermath, I mean, have you heard anything? Has anybody come to you and either with positive or negative, constructive criticism or because I know you were kind of like packed up and on to the next thing that you had to. So I didn't know if you've heard anything or talked to anybody about it yet.
Everything I keep hearing has been very constructive. I haven't heard any real negatives. I've heard a lot of suggestions that we need to have, one DA, one orbital, like different, like have different competitions, be able to let more people in. There's a lot of that kind of feedback I've gotten, but in terms of what we actually pulled off ourselves, I haven't gotten much feedback besides we should have had more rules on what you can and can't use. But it
Yeah.
sounds like what we did enforce was consistent and fair.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I've kind of came across too over the past couple of days is the rules didn't seem, although I feel like we laid them all out, bring your own machine, bring your own pad, bring your own compounded polish, like, but some people, were like they didn't know where to look for the rules. They felt like maybe the rules weren't easy enough to find or out there enough or things like that. So that's definitely one of the things I have in my notes to when we have our debrief with the committee to and again, I mean, we had, I don't know what, 6 months kind of to put this together, and now we have a whole year to kind of, now that we've done it, we have a whole year to kind of tweak the what we did in 6 months, really.
Yeah. And I'm excited. I haven't even told you this yet, but I want to put together a little in-person meeting down in Orlando,
Oh, okay.
end of April, and kind of talk through what we had, how we want to grow it. So I want to have some meetings before that to figure out. So we're not on site saying, okay, where do we put the tables? I want us actually all physically there with some machines in hand, playing with everything together.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
I just think there's such a benefit to being in person, and in
Yeah.
person meetings happen for a reason. And I think this will be worth it to grow it to the next level because, like I said, 8 out of 10 this year. I want like 9.9 next year. I don't.
No.
It's never going to be perfect. There's always a chance, but
Listen, I feel like you're giving us a way higher score than I was gonna give us. I was thinking maybe like a B minus, like we were like a good 80% or 70, 79 or whatever, So yeah, I'm happy with it. It seemed it drew pretty big crowds here and there. That was kind of the cool thing to, look up and there's, 10, 15, 20 people there, watching people compete and everything. So that was pretty nice too.
and the amount of social media presence I've seen from it is just insane.
Yeah.
And that's just sparking questions and inquiries. Oh, what is this? I didn't know about it because as much as we try to promote it, not everyone sees everything pre-show, and it's kind of just a little blip on the ever-changing social media feed. So
Right. Right. Exactly. So I know we're going to talk about it, but I mean, do you, for maybe the people listening, do you have any thoughts or ideas that you want to do next year, maybe differently or add to, or, I know we've always talked about in the past that this could, kind of grow and blossom into, a multitude of different things. So, you know, where do you see it going next year and then maybe beyond that?
well, I do want to start out with that question by saying this is for detailers. So I don't detail my own car. I hire one of y'all professionals. So I want to listen to all the feedback and see what everyone in the industry wants. So as much as I want to grow this and everything, I want to make sure we get it right and it's something that we can replicate, over the country slash world as we were approached by, multiple times throughout the week.
Yeah.
But well, I want to get the formula down right where everyone thinks, all right, this is it. Either it's one competition or a couple, depending on the type of tools or however we want to do that. But I really want to get that formula down before we start replicating. But it's not my decision whatsoever. It's really what the industry wants. So that's why we
Yeah.
started the committee. And of course, we're going to be looking for open feedback of everyone else out there.
Yeah, yeah. And I know we did 20 contestants this year. I know you wanted to start out, kind of small. You did 20. You were kind of hoping for 10. You sold it out plus a couple, I think, because some people kind of didn't show up. And so we let other people who wanted to jump in, jump in. What are you thinking next year? I mean, we're going to do 30, we're going to do 40.
So I think my major takeaways. So number one, I need a champion in the industry to run this. So Jason Rose really stepped up this year. He and the row point guys were there literally all day, every day. I know you were in and out too, like helping get the contestants set up, teaching them, like doing the measuring, getting the pans set. So we can't just lean on like volunteers. I need a champion for that. So if you're listening and you're interested next year, let me know. But second, I think the pans worked. I was a little hesitant, but seeing the before and afters and the readings, I think the pans were great. We got through 20 Barely. I think that was with Jason and the row point guys literally never eating or drinking anything
Yeah.
throughout the day. So that was just brutal for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, Jason kept telling me, he's like, I gotta eat my lunch. He's like pulling this sandwich and his apples out of his little bag or whatever. And I kept running over to the Aquatech booth to grab my drink because for some reason wasn't smart enough to take it to the paint correction booth with me. So I'd start getting thirsty and I'd be like, shoot, I gotta run back and grab my drink real quick. So yeah, that was but honestly, like for me, when I do MTE or do SEMA, like I'm just so busy throughout the day that I don't even think about eating, and then it's over, and then my stomach's like, "Rah, feed me."
Yeah.
So,
No, I get that, but I think what I saw was the way we did the pans was great. My little engineered contraption to hold them worked fine on make a couple
yeah,
tweaks. But we can definitely fab up another one of those and we can run two either staggered concurrent either way and we can get double the competitors. It might not be 40, it might be 30 to add some breaks in there for
right,
people.
yeah,
But I think two stations is completely doable to get more contestants involved.
yeah. No, I think definitely we could do it that way because my thought was, uh, if it's the first one of the day, the row point guys do the pre measurements. And then the contestant goes, they start measuring pan number 2, and then by the time they're done with all that, the 5 minutes is up for the first contestant. They go over and start doing after readings, contestant 2 starts going, and it's just a kind of back and forth, was kind of how I was envisioning it in my head, to be able to run it like that,
Exactly.
yeah.
And but that's what I want to practice. Like I want all those people in the same room when like into April,
Yeah,
whatever. Like, let's try this. Where do we put the tables? How are we gonna like is there enough room? Like I think the earlier we can get a
right.
hold of that, the better it'll be at the end and we won't be scrambling
Yeah,
on site. Not saying it was bad or anything. It was just a lot of, oh, this kind of
right,
worked.
right.
Let's move
Well
this here. And oh, we need a
Well, and
lighter knob.
again, I
Yeah.
mean, we had plenty, and realistically, I mean, I don't even know if we had plenty of meetings because we did like one meeting a month. So we basically had 6 meetings, on Zoom or meetings or Teams or whatever. Um, but Friday was pretty much first time, that we said, okay, this is how we're doing it. Cause, I mean, even Thursday, we didn't know the row point guys had a template made up. You were asking me to go buy a sheet of a poster board because we were going to try to make one or whatever. So thankfully they had one already made up. They thought of it, which was cool. So
Well, yeah, we had talked about it, but it's like they were traveling. I was like, I don't know. That's why I
yeah,
feel like let's just have something just in case. But they
yeah,
were on top of the game there, and of course we had a couple tech issues, but all that will
yeah,
work
no,
itself out over
absolutely.
time.
Well, listen, I mean, I know we're gonna stack the rest of this podcast here with some other stuff, but man, I really appreciate you, for finally doing this, letting me help out. I didn't really know what my help capacity was going to be in the beginning, when you asked me, to kind of help you. So I think just getting that committee together and getting the right people, and having that input, and then it was I was kind of like you, the first pan with Mike Phillips. I was like, oh shoot, like what's gonna happen? But it went off without a hitch for the most part. And I enjoyed talking to everybody afterwards, doing interviews afterwards with them, and kind of seeing what they thought from hearing about it to signing up to it to doing it. So thanks again, man, for letting me be a part of it. It was awesome.
Yeah, and I was actually just thinking about this. Like, I want not only the contestants' feedback, but we really want everyone. So on the website, I might just put up a like survey form on the
Okay.
paint correction page. It says, give us your thoughts. Anything goes. Because, like I said, I do want all the input on this, and it'd just be easier for me to get everything in one spot if it's
Yeah.
through a survey form. But drop us a line on Facebook. Almost fell off my thing. Sorry, I
Yeah.
stand on a balance board and
And then
just.
one
But yes,
Yeah.
we want the feedback. That's really what we need, and the ideas because we
Right,
are going
right,
to think of
exactly.
everything.
And then one last thing for you real quick, because I did have some people ask me, um, when they were going to find out their standings. So I know Daryl said he was still kind of, I think they still had a couple of days and they were actually going to email everybody's readings and standings out and everything. But did you guys let people know where they fell if they weren't in the top three for the awards?
We have not yet. So once Daryl and the Row Point
Okay.
team are done with that, I don't think we're just going to release it publicly. But if you, as a competitor, would like to know where you fell, I'm happy emailing that to you. But I unfortunately have to do another show next week, so it'll probably be like 2 weeks. But hit me up at sheldon@mobiletechexpo.com, and once we're there, I'm happy to release it privately, but not the whole list
Exactly.
publicly.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, I know you're super busy, so I just wanted to get you on and just kind of do a little, follow up debrief with this. And like I said, we're gonna bring Daryl from Row Point on here and have him go over the meter and the readings and all that stuff.
I think yeah, I'm excited for the Daryl one just because I think there's a lot of people in the industry that didn't
Oh,
totally
Jason
understand
Rose
the
didn't
tool.
understand the
Or
tool in the beginning. Jason Rose was like this and this, and Daryl's like, I mean, not really, kind of, and Jason was like, oh, what? So I think Jason Rose got a little bit of education in the tool that he didn't really know too much of. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
awesome. Well, great. Well, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it, and
Yes,
we'll
sir.
definitely be
All
talking
right.
soon.
Well, take care. All right, I'm back with Daryl Case from Row Point. How you doing, Daryl?
Doing great. How about you?
Oh man, I'm great. So I'm excited to have you on because one of the biggest things with this paint correction competition was everybody was asking about the judging, how we were doing it. When we explained to them about the detailometer, a lot of people were like, okay, it's a gloss meter, but it's really more than a gloss meter. And I think that's the thing that even the contestants, after they got done, were kind of watching you guys and asking you guys questions. And even still, they didn't get it. So having you on here today, let's learn what the detailometer does, how you guys were, getting those readings, and then how you guys were able to put together a scoring system.
Okay, excellent. Well, let me start out by introducing myself and Row Point Americas. Again, my name is Daryl Case. I'm the president of the Americas operations for Row Point. Row Point Instruments is the parent company. They're based in England, and they've been in business for almost 40 years.
Okay.
They're a major supplier of instrumentation for measuring surface appearance on automobiles, airplanes, yachts, trains, you name it. They've been making instruments for almost 40 years that measure things like gloss, that measure things like distinctness of image, haze, surface waviness, or what we call orange peel in the automotive industry.
Right.
And they've been doing this for quite a long time. My operations here based in Troy, Michigan, is the Americas arm of the company, and we cover North, Central, and South America as a territory. We have a similar operations in Germany that handles the EU. And then we've got distributors throughout the world, in Asia, China, Japan, Korea, Australia, etc. So about 2 years ago, I asked the company to develop a product that could be used in the detailing industry because, number one, I'm a car buff myself, own a couple of collector cars, and
Nice.
And we've been making products that the automotive companies have been using for many years. So I had indicated to our factory, why don't we come up with a solution for the professional detailers, the men and women that are involved in paint correction on everything from exotic cars to the family SUV.
Right.
So we had the technology already. We had been using it for about 15 years. Some of the higher end auto detailers and associated companies had been using our existing technology, companies like Rupes, companies like Esoteric Fine Finishes in Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
a number of companies in Europe, and this technology. What makes it different is it's not a gloss meter per se, because gloss really only tells you the surface is shiny,
Right.
and gloss doesn't really match what your eye sees. Uh, so we had the technology already for like I said, for the past probably the past 12 years, and it was an instrument that we started out with called the IQ. And what made the IQ different is that it measured distinctness of image, it measured gloss, it measured haze, and it also measured some parameters that would help indicate the level of orange peel or smoothness of the surface. So that instrument had been on the market for the past 12 years. The instrument was actually too high of a price for the detailing market. So we developed a product based off of that, a spin-off product called the detailometer. And we introduced it for the first time at SEMA 2 years ago.
Okay.
And so we launched it at SEMA. We had it last year at Mobile Tech, and we had it again in the paint correction competition this year at Mobile Tech. So it's starting to gather a little bit of steam. It's starting to get a little bit more well known. Again, people the first time they see it, they go, that looks like a gloss meter.
Yeah.
Well, it does measure gloss, but I will tell you that gloss is the indicator, the only indicator in the instrument that really has no value. It's there, and it tells you the surface is shiny, but it doesn't really distinguish for you how deep is the clarity of your reflection.
Okay.
It doesn't tell you if there's any haze still left on the surface. That could be due to polishing marks, could be due to residue, maybe some of the paint issues that weren't corrected properly can still show up as haze.
Okay. So let me ask you this real quick. So then that's kind of the big difference between your guys' tool and let's say the $300 gloss meter on Amazon is that tool's only measuring gloss. So
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true. There's a lot of gloss meters on the market, especially the ones coming out of China that you find on Amazon.
Right.
But again, they're only measuring gloss, and the gloss does not tell you what you see with your eyes. What you see with your eyes is really the distinctness of image, or what we call a reflected image quality on the surface, and also that haze.
Yeah.
So those two parameters better match what your eye sees. They're going to give you numbers that make sense. So now I can quantify the surface of the paint before and after you do the paint correction.
Okay.
So the idea here for the professional detailer is your customer brings their vehicle into your shop. You take some readings, baseline readings of the existing condition of the paint. Provide them a nice report that says, here's your existing condition. And oh, by the way, I believe I can improve your surface quality, get it closer to a perfect finish. And here's how I'm going to do it. The products and tools that you use. And here's how I'm going to quantify it with a meter now that gives me actual readings.
Yeah.
To quantify the work that I've done. So this instrument is unique. There is nothing else like it on the market. We own the rights to it. It's our technology, and we've had that technology now for about 12 years, and nobody's come up with any kind of solution to compete with it.
Oh,
and I don't think they will.
Yeah.
So let me tell you a little bit about the detailometer and what it does, the readings that it gets, and what do they mean.
Right.
And how a professional detailing shop that does paint correction, a serious paint correction, can use it basically to elevate their business, to get more customer loyalty, and above all, to increase their profits. So I'm going to go through a couple of slides here just to give you an idea of what this instrument does. And
for anybody who's listening to this on the podcast, this will be available. The video will be available on YouTube if you want to go and watch these slides that he's going to talk about.
So let me go to the presentation here. You still see it?
Yes, sir.
All right. So again, I had a burning passion for muscle cars and hot rods and collectibles, and I'm sure a lot of the guys that own these kinds of cars want to make sure they protect the paint, make sure they get the best reflective quality of the paint that they can get. So they go to professional detailers to do that.
Right.
And again, our technology has been used in the automotive industry and R&D. A lot of the paint companies we know, the automotive paint companies we work with. We work with the automotive companies, tier one suppliers, et cetera. But this technology has also been used for a lot of other applications. One of the applications that's been used in for many years is polishing of concrete floors. So if you go to the any of the big box stores or to Amazon plants or anything like any of those types of customers, when they have new concrete being poured, they basically hone or grind that concrete to a fine finish. They do that so it's got better wearability. It will give them a longer life, but it also gives them a nice reflective surface. And then they put their coatings on top of that to further protect it.
Okay.
So in the concrete polishing industry, they've been using distinctness of image and haze for about the past 12 years. And it's now specified by architects and by customers, as well as these professional concrete polishers. They're using the same technology, our instrument, and it's the only instrument on the market, again, that can do that.
Oh, wow.
The other areas where it's been used is metal finishing or any kind of metal finishing. Again, if I want to be able to look at that surface to make sure that I've got the best finish on the metal, and I'm looking at just more than, is it shiny? Is it got a nice reflective surface? And did I get all the haze out of the surface? So the technology is there. It's been around for a while. It's being used in other industries at products that are twice the cost.
Okay. I'm going to pause you for a second. The screen's not changing. Have you changed the screen yet?
I have, yeah.
Okay. I'm still on the main detailometer, elevate business loyalty and profit. There we go. Okay.
Can you see that now?
Now it changed. Yeah.
All right.
So that's every beautiful car finish has a beautiful number.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
All right. So I'm going to take it out of the automatic mode then, because I was trying to put it through the presentation mode.
Yep.
And I'll just show it as individual slides like this.
Okay. Perfect. Okay.
So again, our model, I guess, is every beautiful car finish has a beautiful number. Anybody that's got any type of a car that's precious to them, like a exotic or a Corvette, even a Corvette or even a muscle car or a hot rod, they take care of those vehicles very precisely, let's say, and they like to also document what they do to their vehicles, the maintenance that occurs, the work that occurs on those vehicles.
Right.
So with the detailometer giving you numbers, now you can take those numbers, compile a report through the app that runs on your iPhone or your Android device, and as you're collecting the data, you're automatically creating the documentation.
Okay.
So with that documentation, I can show you the beginning appearance of that vehicle and how it stacks up on the quality scales. And then after I'm through with the professional paint correction, I'm going to give you numbers that say here's how I took your vehicle from what it was when it came into the shop to a near perfect finish.
Right.
So this tool is also a good way to educate your customers by giving them the data before and after, and helping you justify your higher level of cost for the color correction, for the paint correction. It can also be used to educate and train your people. So if you have one professional detailer, paint correction guy in your shop, and he's the best out of all of them, you can now document and show the other employees how to get to that same level by using the tool as a training device.
Okay.
So we have a lot of companies that are doing that currently. I can tell you that for some of our existing customers, they're using the meter and the app and the thickness gauge to not only train their own people, but to train their customers. And if they're doing any kind of professional correction training, they're using it in those classes as well.
Okay.
So if you talk to some of the people in the industry, like Rennie Doyle with the Detail Mafia,
Yep.
he uses it every day in his training classes.
Yeah, I believe he was the one that first told me about your guys' tool when we were just starting out the paint correction competition committee and looking into it. And then Sheldon, when I brought it up to Sheldon said, well, they exhibited with us last year. So he's like,
Right.
I'll reach out to him. And so, yeah.
Yeah. So we were very happy to be part of the first MTE paint correction competition.
Oh man, we were so happy that you guys were there, because I think we would not have done a good enough job without you.
I'm telling you, some of those finishes were so close. The competition was so tight that without numbers, I don't know how you would have been able to do it.
Yeah. No, I mean, and again, I mean, we knew we were going to use the tool, but I think Jason Rose had kind of volunteered to do the metering. But I feel like, just that first conversation, the first day when you and Dave were there, and I think he didn't really understand the tool as much as he thought he did.
Right. And he's been using it for like 7-8 years.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh man, we definitely, not that we would have done bad. It was
No,
the
of
first
course.
one. But yeah, I think it was definitely a plus that you and Dave were there. So that's awesome.
So again, we like to say the detailometer is showing more than shine.
Right.
It's showing you things that you see with your eyes, things that you can start to understand and see if you've gotten that, if you actually achieved the finish that you were looking for, and how consistent is the finish around the whole car.
Right.
So we the way we see it, when you're doing paint correction, you want to make sure the car's consistent around the whole car, but you also want to make sure you don't over polish. You don't want to waste time and money on polishing more than you need to.
Right.
So by getting numbers, you can feel confident that you are achieving the numbers that you want to achieve on the whole car. And even aside the instrument, there is the capability to set up what we call a pass-fail. So you can set the first part of the car that you do the paint correction on, you get it to the level you want it to be at, and that becomes your master. Then you compare the rest of the car as you go along. Am I matching the master surface?
Oh, wow.
And I'll get a pass-fail. If I matched it, then move on to the next section. So we think this can also be a time saver.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah.
And also to make sure that you're not, over polishing and maybe burning through the clear coat.
Right.
So with the detailometer, it is a battery operated instrument. It measures a number of different parameters all simultaneously. Takes about a second to take the measurement. And then again, that data is automatically transferred to an app on your phone. So you're creating a report as you go. We'll talk about the parameters that are involved in it, but again, as I mentioned before, the reflected image quality we call distinctness of image. We also have something called reflective image quality, haze, and the a parameter called R-spec, which is really understanding and giving you the smoothness of the surface.
Okay.
So if there's any lingering orange peel, that still could be in the clear coat. It's telling you if there's still any there.
Okay.
That needs to be polished out.
Now, just to kind of clarify distinctiveness of image, like what exactly is that? I mean, I know you keep saying like reflectiveness, but like how does it actually like is it just measuring the reflectiveness of it, or
It's well with these meters, they're a meter that reflects a light source onto the surface
okay,
at a certain angle. In this case, it's a 20-degree angle.
okay,
And the reflection back from the what we get coming back from that signal on the surface is also at a 20-degree angle. And we look at that light reflection on how the light's being scattered. And the way it's being scattered is telling us if we're able to calculate haze.
okay,
If we get a nice sharp reflection back, that's telling me I've got a close to a mirror image, which means I've got a good reflected image quality.
okay,
But it's all based on a light source that we reflect on the surface.
okay,
Not much different than if you're using a light source by hand or manually.
right,
Looking at the surface at a certain angle with your eyes, and you're looking at the halos, and you're looking at the reflection if there's any distortions in your reflected image.
okay,
We're doing it scientifically with a known light source, which is this technique of gloss readings over the past 40 some years is all done with a light source.
right, right.
Uh,
And I like that it does it at that 20-degree angle, because I think most detailers, right, like they when they hold their light up, they hold it straight on.
right,
And I know I've seen, a lot of, kind of seasoned detailers, they'll usually hold their light out at an angle on the panel,
right,
because then it really, because if you direct on, it almost kind of washes out, but if you get it at that angle, then that's where you can kind of maybe see that fine stuff you're missing. So I feel like that's
exactly.
doing the same replicating the same thing. Yeah.
So if you look at this image here, I have a before and after comparisons.
Hmm.
You'll see that this is off of a Porsche
Yep.
vehicle. You'll see that the top area is still got a lot of scratches and haziness to it, and the bottom image is the scratches are gone. The black painted finish is much more reflective,
Yep.
and so you can see with your eyes the difference.
Right.
If I take those differences and put them into numbers, you'll see that graph on the right hand side. For example, I'm showing the distinctness of image as a green graph.
Okay.
And that distinctness of image, if you notice, it peaks way down to below 40
Right.
in the beginning. And as I start to polish the vehicle, you see that graph gravitate up close to 100.
Yeah.
So that's where you want to get to for distinctness of image. You want to get to a surface that's close to perfect, which is it only goes up to 100.
Right.
Now, if I look at the haze level, which is the red graph, the haze level starts out at a peak that's close to 100.
Right.
And
And
then
then
you
levels
see,
out.
and then it levels out and drops down to close to 0.
Yeah.
So they're opposites of each other. The distinctness of image, you want to be a high number. The haze number, you want to be a low number.
Right.
And our spec is again telling me if it's getting smoother. So if
Okay.
I look at that blue scale graph for the R spec,
Uh-huh.
it starts out at a lower number, and again, as my DOI goes up
Goes up.
and my haze goes down, the R spec is also getting smoother.
Right. Now, let me
So
ask you this. What's the difference between on the tool? What's the difference between haze and logic haze? Because I know when I did my metering, and you even
mhm,
I kind of showed you, you said, oh, well, you had it on haze and it was a good number. But when you guys did the competition, you did logic haze. So what's the difference between?
Well, we actually we reverted back to regular haze
Oh, okay.
after the first couple of readings, because we figured out the log haze is a higher resolution of haze.
Okay.
It's used in the automotive industry, and because they like to see higher numbers. I can tell you, for example, at Mercedes, they look at haze levels in log haze. If it's like 70 or lower, the number, they're saying that's good. That's good. That's what they expect in a factory delivered vehicle. But in the detailing industry, I like to promote the idea of, I want to get to 100 or close to 100 on DOI, and I want to get to 0 on haze.
Right.
I don't want to see a number of 70 or 50 or those types of numbers.
70
right?
seems like a bit. That's crazy.
So I differentiate it a little bit from the automotive industry, saying, okay, I think the finishes are better from these professional paint corrector guys
Right.
than it is coming out of the factory. And so there's still levels of orange peel in the clear coat coming from the factory.
Okay.
And so when you guys are doing work on cars, either brand new or a few years later, you're trying to erase some of that orange peel that's in that clear coat.
Right.
So that's why we use, in the competition, we use DOI and we used regular haze.
Okay.
And you'll see when the reports are sent out, we're going to send those out later today and tomorrow to all the contestants.
Did you get all the emails?
I got all the emails, so
Okay.
we're good to go.
Okay.
But you'll see that if I get down to 0 haze, that's perfect. You can't get any better than that. And we had quite a few contestants, by the way, that were down in that range.
Nice.
So you'll see that when we send you the copies of the reports.
Okay.
So again, the other thing that we did differently with the technology that was not available with the 7-8 years ago with the other instruments that other customers were using from us, is we created an app. The app comes with the instrument for free. There's no annual fees. There's no subscription service. It's included. You can run it on an iPad. You can run it on a PC. You can run it on your iPhone or your Android device.
Okay.
And it's a really nice app because it allows you to document the before and after results for your projects, but it also shows you what areas of the vehicle did you measure. You can include photographs of the vehicle before and after. You can include what tools you used to do the paint correction. So anything that you want to add to the app is completely customizable. The customer can put their logo. They can put their all their marketing information on the reports. And when you're done with the project, you deliver to the customer a PDF file, or you print it out onto paper and give them a written report.
Nice.
So that's the app. And the app is again, something that's easy to use, something easy to document. You'll be able to collect all the data that you collected. And again, I think it also offers the professional paint corrector kind of a level of prestige that they can generate with their company and use it as a marketing tool.
Right.
You take away the finger pointing, you justify your pricing plans, you verify that you did exceptional work. You've also got the data archived. So when the customer comes back to you a couple of years from now or next year or whenever, you've got their previous data to go look at and see how their paint finish changed since the last time it was in for
oh wow, okay,
for paint correction.
So when they tell you they haven't been going through the car wash,
right,
and you meter it and you go, the
or
meter
you're leaving out in the sun too long or something, right?
Yeah, you're like Jerry Springer or whatever. No, not Jerry Springer. the other guy, and he's like, "The report says
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
been going through the car wash."
Yeah, you are the father.
Yeah, yeah,
So again, a lot of companies that are getting involved with the detailometer are now starting to use it for their marketing
okay,
and to basically show their brand awareness uh, in their to their customer base and within the industry. So we like to call it the results are golden because now I got real numbers.
hmm
Uh, if the professional paint correction shop is doing any work with dealerships, now you can settle on a specification before you start the work, and then you've got results that are in writing to show them. Here's what the work I did for you, and again, get rid of all the finger pointing. There's not my eyes seeing it differently than your eyes.
right,
It's all in the numbers. So let's talk about the numbers briefly. What do they mean? There's 5 key measurements captured by the detailometer. Uh, one of them, which I think is one of the more important ones, is distinctness of image. The second one I would say is probably most important is haze.
hmm
Now we've got a third one called RIQ, which is reflected image quality, which is a higher resolution of DOI.
okay,
So if you're getting close to your 100 score on DOI and you say, well, on this particular car, I want to take it to the next level, then I can look at the RIQ numbers and see if I can fine tune it a little bit more. So I think even going into next year's competition, we are probably going to start looking at RIQ numbers as well because the scores are so close.
okay,
Our spec is again the peak gloss level at a very narrow angle, which really indicates if I've got a smooth surface or not.
right,
So the way we use that is if the R spec number is close to your gloss level number, then you know you've gotten rid of all the orange peel and you got a very smooth surface.
okay. Would
And
that
you'll see
also
that.
would that also kind of fall into like swirl marking and light scratches and things like that? Would that read that, or is it just reading the
It's more for the
orange
orange peel.
Okay,
The swirl marks and scratches are going to be in your haze.
okay, gotcha.
So let's talk about what do these various parameters mean, and how can you wrap your mind around what they're doing.
Right,
So the first one, the distinctness of image. If we look at these 7 images of a pattern, a optical pattern, you can look at all of those from the top left one to the bottom right one, and I guarantee you that the gloss readings are going to be very similar for all of them.
okay,
But you look at those with your eyes and say, well, I know those are not as good.
right,
The one up on top left is blurry. I can't even see anything.
yep,
And the ones on the bottom right are nice and clear and crisp.
yeah,
So DOI gives you a number from 0 to 100. And if I'm looking at that one on the top left, that's probably a 0. And the one on the bottom right is going to be close to 100. And
yeah,
you can visually see that with your eyes as I go through these types of numbers, how the clarity of the reflection gets better and better. And it really matches the numbers. So that's DOI. If we look at the next one, which is haze, which we call reflective haze. Reflective haze is basically a cloudiness, milkiness, halo marks, swirl marks, scratches. It's basically microscopic surface textures,
right,
which are polishing marks, scratches, weathering. That's diffusing my light. My light's not getting a nice sharp reflection. I'm getting it dispersed in the surface of the paint. And you can see this a lot of times if you've got a strong light source. You're going to see that with a light source. The other way you'll see it is if I take the car from inside the shop to outdoors in a bright sunlight, all of a sudden some of those scratches and things you thought you got out are still showing up, which means they're there, and the haze numbers would have found them in the haze numbers.
Right.
So be assured that the numbers are going to be better than what you see with your eyes, and it's going to really match what you see, especially if I go outside into
Right.
the bright sunlight. So that's what we call haze.
Okay.
The third parameter is called RIQ, reflective image quality, and RIQ is basically another new measurement that we created. If I'm looking at highly reflective coatings, and I've got two different panels for the same gloss level, and maybe the DOIs are pretty darn close as well. But looking at them with my eyes, I can see that they're slightly different.
Yeah.
The RIQ number is going to quantify that.
Okay.
So that's why I said when you get close to 100, let's say on DOI, but there's still a little bit there that I want to resolve. That's when I would switch over to the RIQ number, which is already there automatically anyway. So all you have to do is look at it and say, okay, my RIQ, reflected image quality, has gone up from a little bit more effort on my part.
Okay.
You could also be looking at those things, by the way, with different polishes, different pads. We talked about using this instrument not only for doing paint correction, but it can be used to evaluate ceramic coatings and protective films, because those all have a certain level of clarity as well. So I can use the detailometer to measure before and after I add a various types of coatings, or before and after I add a protective film. So that's RIQ. RSpec is what we call the peak reflectance. And on the meter itself, there's a graph that you can go to look at and say, okay, I've got a gloss level of 89.1 on one panel, and I got a gloss level of 89.0 on a second panel. But I can see the first panel has some orange peel signature to it.
Right.
Because my peak is very short and kind of squatty. It's not a nice narrow peak. The other way to look at that is your RSpec number should be close to or equal to your gloss if I got a smooth surface. So if you look at the data on the right, which is a smooth surface, my RSpec number is 88.7. My gloss is 89.
Right. Yeah. So it's almost the same.
Almost the same. But if I look on the orange peel panel, my RSpec is 57.
Right.
Now, again, if you look at DOI for both of those, you'll see the DOIs got a big difference. But the haze level is pretty much the same on both panels.
Right. Yeah.
So again, it's another parameter to use. There's not a single parameter that's going to tell you everything. The DOI, the haze are two of the most important ones. But I think if you've got a level of orange peel that you're trying to get out of the surface through wet sanding or some type of sanding operation, you're going to see how smooth you got it afterwards by looking at the RSpec compared to the gloss.
Okay.
So it's another tool on your instrument that's usable. The final parameter is gloss. Again, at 20 degrees. Why 20 degrees? Because 20 degrees is the best gloss angle for highly reflective surfaces. Anything that goes from a let's say like a 70 on a gloss rating, on a normal gloss rating, up to a mirror finish. 20 degrees is going to give you a better, more accurate, more higher resolution of data compared to a regular gloss reading. We make instruments that measure everything from 60-degree angles, which is kind of a standard gloss meter angle in the industry worldwide for automotive and other things. We measure 20 degrees for highly reflective surface, which is what we think the paint correction market's all about. And then for very low gloss surfaces, we've got an angle called 85 degree.
Okay.
And 85 degree is a very shallow angle. If I'm looking at a matte finish or some type of a very low gloss surface, I would probably use an 85 degree.
Okay.
Now I can tell you from the competition at Mobile Tech, the panels to begin with had no gloss.
Right.
because the gloss was all sanded off. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so, so we weren't able to get any good readings on that pre-polishing. Now with an 85-degree angle, we could have got a gloss reading on it, but that wouldn't have done much to help us, I think, for the competition.
Right.
So who's using these products, these detailometers? Who are some of the first early?
Alex Russell is. You can put me on that list.
Exactly. I'm going to. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm going
go,
to.
go ahead. I don't know if that'll help you or hurt you, but yeah, that's awesome.
Since we started a couple of years ago, Rennie Doyle, it was one of our first early adopters.
Nice.
Mike Phillips now is also on board as a user of the instrument. He's using it for his training classes as well as some of the projects he works on. Rupes has been a great customer for the past, I want to say, 8 years. And they've been using it for everything from not the detailometer. They've been using the instrument called the IQ, which was a more expensive instrument at the time.
Yeah.
They are now starting to use the detailometers as well. So they do have one or two of the detailometers, and they're looking to acquire a couple more.
Nice.
Esoteric Fine Finishes is a large paint correction detailing company out of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been using the IQ product also for about the past 7-8 years.
Okay.
And they're a big proponent of DOI and haze as readings. They've even used it to evaluate what protective films they wanted to use in their shop with their customers.
Yeah.
So we do have a couple of companies that are also reselling for us. Professional Detailing Products is a reseller. We've got Griot's Garage using it for their training and some of their R&D work. Adams Polishes using it for some of their R&D and training purposes. Stinger Chemical has a system now, and they're looking at becoming a reseller for us. I got to talk a little further with them about that.
Okay.
And then we've got some other companies that are making polishing compounds that are like, and they're making ceramic coatings like the Duraslicks, the High Tech Industries, etc. So
Nice.
it's something that's gaining some traction and steam. And again, because of the Mobile Tech show, we are running a special discount for anybody that wants to purchase the kit, the detailometer kit. Through the end of February, we're offering a 10% show discount. And all you have to do is call us up on the telephone, and we can take your order right over the telephone and process it for you.
Oh, nice.
We don't have on the website. We do have a website, but we don't have on the website the special discount at this point.
Okay. Nice.
So that's the. I'm going to stop sharing that now.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of an overview of what the technology is.
Okay.
It's based on a light source technology that we own. That started out as gloss meters, but it went well beyond that, and because we still sell gloss meters that are almost the same price as the detailometer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Just a single 60-degree gloss meter. So, and the industry, automotives, aerospace, et cetera, are still purchasing those instruments when they have to meet a specification of 60-degree gloss.
Okay.
So I think the price point for the detailometer, we brought down to about half of what the previous products were, called IQ.
Mm-hmm.
And with the special discounts, we were able to lower it a little bit more. And it's free shipping also, anywhere in the USA.
Oh, nice. That's good. That's good. Let me ask you this, because I had little time playing around with it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to get hundreds? I mean, I've gotten pretty close on like DOI.
I've seen it up to 99.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah. 98, 99 is not impossible.
I'm wanting, now that I've gotten the tool back, I want to start playing with some of those panels and see what I can do. If you don't mind, I'd love to give you my my befores and afters, and
Yeah.
maybe you could just be like, you might have placed, you might have not have.
Yeah.
But
Yes, absolutely.
and again, when I did my panel, because I didn't have a cool contraption to hold it down, so I was only able to do like the maybe 8 inches of the middle of the pants. I only did a dead center.
Yeah.
So my gloss before was 8.3. My gloss after was 84.5.
Your gloss went up a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. 8.3 to 84. That's a lot of bit, but okay. Yeah. My DOI was 31.6 before. After was 98.
Yeah, that's a
So
big change.
I feel like that's pretty good.
Yeah.
This was the one I was most happy with. So my haze was 195.9 before
Log haze.
log haze. It
Yeah.
was 0.0 after.
Oh, you can't get any better than that.
Can't get any better.
No.
Exactly. And then my RIQ before was 25.0 and
Yeah.
after was 93.0.
Yeah. Yeah. So the numbers match with what you see with your eyes.
Yeah.
I can also tell you in the competition, because we measured 5 different zones on the
Yeah.
panel, we saw clearly that some of the work that was being done by the competitors, they were spending too much time on the edges
Mm-hmm.
and not enough time in the middle.
In the middle.
And so the numbers you could see from one zone to another there was some pretty good sized changes. The
Oh,
guys
wow.
the guys that knew what they were doing,
Uh-huh.
they had a consistent
Consistency. Yeah.
readings on all 5 zones.
Right.
But we had a few that, like, one of the zones they would do terrible in because
Okay.
Now the other thing that was interesting, I think, was in the competition was that the types of products and tools they were using, they were all different. They weren't.
Yeah.
Nobody used the same tools and products.
Nope.
And that was kind of interesting as well to see. Did the product make the difference, or was it the paint
Yeah.
corrector that made the
So,
difference?
so one of the questions that I've kind of been wrestling with that I think we should have done, although I kind of, erred to Jason Rose, was the panel wipe. Does the panel wipe help or hurt them if they didn't?
The wipe. When was the panel wipe done? Before or after?
Well, I mean, so like after they were done, I felt like all the panels should have been wiped after they were done.
They
Jason
should have
was
been.
like,
Yes.
if they do it in their 5 minutes, they do it. If they don't, they don't. And that's one of the things I'm going to talk about next year is it needs to be done regardless.
Yeah.
But Jason kind of made it out like if they didn't and they leave product on there, it could hurt them. Is that true, or could it have possibly helped
No.
them?
If there's any residue left on the area we were measuring,
Okay.
it could hurt them.
Okay. So it was definitely better to have
wipe it.
to have them wipe it. Okay. Because that's one of the things I want to approach for next year is regardless if it's done in the 5 minutes or if we say, hey, you have 5 minutes to do it, and then you have 20 seconds or 30 seconds to
wipe.
To wipe or whatever. I think it needs to be done just to, I think, be true. Again, I mean, I know we were trying to make sure that people weren't using gloss enhancers or
Right.
fillers or things of that nature, but again, you never know, because apparently there was one person who had a bottle of Rupes that Jason Rose says was not a Rupes product when he saw it being put on. And Brian from Duraslick was like, "How do you know?" And Jason's like, "I know my products, and that was not my product." So apparently ended up not. And I don't think that the kid was trying to cheat by any means.
No. Yeah.
But it would be weird that he had some product in a different bottle. But to me, that's why I felt like maybe the panel prep should have been done, because regardless if somebody used something with gloss enhancers or fillers or something like that, the panel prep would strip that away anyways.
Well, if you give everybody the same kind of cleaning cloth,
Yeah.
and they all have to follow the same process, it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
I do want to say there's a few times when we were measuring some of the panels afterwards that Dave had to blow off some of the leftover lint and everything coming off the pads.
Oh, okay.
And again, anything that's left on that surface, if it's dirt, dust,
Right.
fibers, it could impact the light reflection of the instrument, and it will
Gotcha.
add to your haze and your diminished DOI.
So next year we need to make sure that the contestant, if we don't want to touch it, the contestant gets either extra time or just time period to
Yeah.
wipe their pans down, make sure there's no dust or microfibers or
Yeah.
wool strings or anything
Well,
like that.
even blow it off, and maybe we have a little
Little pancake air compressor or something.
yeah,
like
something just to blow off the surface to get off any. If you don't want to wipe something that might put scratches in it,
Yeah. But Chris Metcalf with Ego had some of them big blowers down there. We should have went and got one of those, and
yeah.
one of those big Ego leaf blowers. And blow it off.
The other thing I would recommend, and we'll talk about that, I guess, when we
when we
next
have to meet.
next
Yeah.
meet. But I'd recommend that the pre-panels are not sanded so much,
Okay.
or we find some way to do more of a natural aging, accelerated aging or whatever of the paint to simulate real world conditions of car
Yeah.
washes and
Right.
oxidation and those types of things.
Yeah. I mean, listen, they're all in my shop. I can just lay them out and just beat them with a brush.
Yeah.
For whatever. I liked, I can't remember if it was yours or Dave's idea. I liked it, the idea of doing a weathered panel competition where we
Yeah.
just leave the panels. I'll just throw them all out in my backyard and let them get hit on the floor to sun and rain for the next year.
Right.
And then let the competitors wet sand, compound, and polish. So maybe year 3. I think year two, we just got to fine tune year 1, and then we can kind of branch off from there. But
Yeah, we learned a lot. I think both of us learned a lot on this.
Yeah, definitely. Because when Sheldon asked me to help him do this, I told him, I said, look, I don't know anything about this. I don't even know if I want to be a part of it, because I don't know if it's going to be a good thing for you, a good thing for me, a bad thing for you, a bad thing for me.
Right.
I said, but here's what I'll do is I will find you the right people and we'll make a committee. And I think that was the smartest thing, was having the committee. I'm very glad that you and Dave, took on, the role that you guys did. And I'm excited for you guys to join the committee this year to help us next year with, like, okay, how can we, do the judging maybe a little bit different, or what suggestions you guys have.
We got some ideas. One of the ideas Dave and I had was it'd be nice to have a big screen TV in the booth that, as the data is being collected,
it could be shown up there,
shown right up to the audience.
Nice. I like that.
And that way they can see it's real.
Jason had, although I don't think we could do it. I think it might be a little too expensive and a little too tricky to do, because I don't know that you guys would be able to do the data fast enough. But Jason Rose had the idea of, like, when you go to the go-kart track and they have the thing, and as you pass somebody, like, like the names go up and down.
Yeah.
He said it'd be cool if we could do that. Like, whoever goes first obviously starts at the top, and then if the next person does better than them, then they flip-flop. But again, I don't know that you guys would be able to crank out the data.
Yeah, that could be done, but it's going to have to be probably a custom program written for that.
Yeah.
Some kind of a spreadsheet program of some type.
That might be a bit much, but I mean, it's a cool idea. But I do like your guys' idea of maybe we do a TV and have real time
data being shown.
The numbers up there and everything like that. So I mean, it was definitely a lot of fun. It drew crowds at certain times of the day, which was really nice. I think the people coming around kind of like, what is this? What's going on? And then too, watching you and Dave do the, taking the measurements and collecting the data. I think that got a lot of people, asking about it. Yeah. Right. Like, how are you guys doing this? How are you guys doing this? So, again, that's why I wanted to have you on here and kind of go over it so everybody can listen to it and understand exactly what we did and how we did it. And maybe next year, the people that were kind of curious but didn't, maybe they'll show up and see what they can do. So
I think that's a good idea. And I think the other thing, we need to increase the bandwidth of getting more competitors in.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the things Sheldon talked about, bumping it to 30. And we might have to do 2 tables.
Right.
My thought is you guys measure one, that guy goes and starts that one, you're measuring the other one. By the
Right.
time you're done measuring that one, he's done with that one. You go over and measure the afters, the next guy starts, and we, rotate them like that. Unless,
We have two data
yeah,
collectors and two
yeah,
guys doing it
yeah, something.
simultaneously. So
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it can go. I mean, I definitely feel like we probably could do more than 30 next year.
right,
My thought is maybe we have 30 spots available, but we bring an extra 10 pans because, as you know, we had a lot of people that kind of, as people didn't show up, they wanted to jump in and take their place,
right,
and take, so that was kind of nice because I think we had maybe 4 people that didn't show up, and I think we had 3 people fill in because we only
right.
had one pan left over. So I think next year, if we just have extra pans, and for that case, that we could always maybe add somebody in or whatever. But yeah, I think definitely it's going to come down to, we have to figure out the system. We didn't really have a system. We made it up on the fly.
Right,
So that
exactly.
that was another challenging
It was.
aspect of it. So hopefully we can all get together beforehand and get a system going, for adding more people. So yeah, I'm excited for next year. I think it definitely drew a lot of buzz this year. I think there's, obviously people are already excited and talking about it for next year. So in fact, but just before talking to you, I was talking with Bob Rassman from Carbright, and he's excited because, for him, and I think this is a great thing for brands, this is a way to put your product up against,
Competition.
right, and for him with Carbright, it was okay, they'll get your data, of what they did and how they did and where they placed, because then they can go back to the drawing board with their products and be like, hey,
Right.
we need to tweak this, we need to tweak that. Same thing with Brian from Duraslick. I mean, I'm sure he was using it for, whatever. Even Aaron Knox jumped into it because he was dying to, but he had a sample compound, heavy cut compound, that he wanted to see how it
Try
would
out.
perform. Right. And so he basically did the competition just to test that compound and see how it would, finish down and everything.
And
So,
he did pretty well, by the way, but he
oh,
did
did
not
he?
win.
No, he did not. He
But
did not.
he was up there in the top 10.
Okay. That's
So he
good.
was up there.
That's good. I told him he was like 14th, and he was like, "Oh man." I was like, "No, I don't really know." So I have no idea. But he's a good friend of mine, so I like busting his
Oh, he is.
balls.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've been good friends for a while. So there's always a little brotherly feuding going back and forth between him and I online and stuff like that. So yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, listen, Daryl, I won't keep you any longer. I appreciate you for doing this. I think this is a ton of information. I'm so glad that we decided to use your guys' tool, versus kind of using eyes, because that's the one thing that I noticed in this competition was there were a lot of pans that I looked at and was like, wow, you know,
Yeah.
I'll just call him out. Steve Persia. I watched
Yeah.
Steve Persia's pan
He was pretty
after
good.
it was done, and I was like, "That's a pretty damn good pan." I was like, "He's got it. There's no
Yeah.
way. Like, that's probably the best pan I've seen all day." You
Yeah.
know, apparently my eyes are shit because that detailometer said Steve Persia did not win. So,
Well, again, you look at the averages. You
yeah,
know, you had 5 zones, and you might have been looking at your eyes with one zone that
yeah,
looked pretty good.
yeah, yeah. And
And
again, I was trying to look at the light up top, typical detailer. I was trying to
right,
follow the light around the pan so I could
right.
see, any haze or swirls or anything like that. So again, I might not have even been looking at any of the spots that you guys, measured, just because I was following that light.
But he was pretty good. I would say the top, and you'll see the results when we send
Yeah.
you the summary. But the top 12 out of the 19,
We're all by like points.
they're all within a point.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all so close,
Yeah.
and it came down to fractions.
Yeah. That's what I figured. when
Yeah,
when
keep
I
them inspections.
yeah, when I saw you guys doing it, a lot of the main numbers were very similar, like
Right.
83s and 84s, but then it was like that point 2 or that point 3 that was kind of like a difference. So that's
Exactly.
what I knew it was going to come down to. And that's the other thing that's kind of cool too, is because realistically, just looking at them with the eyes, like you just said, everybody in the top 12 could have won it,
Right.
but this kind of makes it like, racing. It doesn't matter if all three cars
That's right.
cross, by the eyes cross the finish line at the same time. It's that tenths of a second or that hundredths of a second or,
That's right.
thousandths of a second that make a difference. So
Or you got it by a nose.
yeah, exactly. Yep. So yeah, I appreciate you for everything that you did with this. I'm excited to work with you guys throughout this year to make the competition better. Thank you again for coming on and
Okay.
explaining everything. So now hopefully everybody out there who was curious about it or who questioned it or didn't understand it now has a better understanding of it. And then yeah, if anybody wants to get one of these fine tools and save 10%, you know where to go, and I'll put the website link in the show notes of this episode as well.
All right. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Daryl.
Thank
All
you.
right, we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, Alex Russell with the Detail Solutions Podcast. I'm here with Mike Phillips. Hey Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good, buddy. So you were the guinea pig for the first ever MTE paint correction competition.
Yes.
What'd you think?
First of all, I love the idea. Here at Mobile Tech Expo, we've always had the damp pulley competition and a number of the other ones that really involved, the industry at Mobile Tech Expo, but we never had a paint correction competition. So now that you guys have developed this format, we can learn from anything that needs to be tweaked and then advance it forward. And it's just going to give a lot of guys in the industry to come here and prove they got the right stuff.
Exactly. So how do you feel now that you were the first one? How do you feel?
In hindsight, I should have been the last one, because then I kind of got the feedback from everybody else that went before me. But I really don't mind. I didn't enter this with any kind of ego. I just wanted to come in and be a part of it. Yeah. Of course, fingers are crossed I place. If I place, that's great. If not, I am going to congratulate whoever wins, because this is a tough competition. That paint, by the way, is rock hard. I would compare it to stainless steel or glass. It really cuts hard. But that makes it a good competition, because when you come into something like this, you don't know what you're going to get. It could have been soft paint, and as a professional, you need to be able to figure out if it's soft, medium, hard, and then you need the skills, the tools, the pads, the products to take care of that paint. It's right in front of you.
Exactly.
Nothing's hypothetical. You got to know your stuff.
Well, listen, Mike, I appreciate you for doing this. Somebody of your caliber in this industry, this is great for this event, because obviously there's been a lot of how are they going to do it? What are they going to do? And everything. So I love that you were just all in to help support, and we greatly appreciate that.
Well, you guys did a good job. So one of the things whenever you're doing product testing is you have to have what are called controls in place. And that way you can keep everything even. So really what it comes down to is the person, the product, the tool, and the pads. All other aspects are being controlled, so it's very fair.
Exactly.
So you guys came up with a great business model for this, and I'm looking forward to next year already.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you'll come back. Maybe you'll be the returning champion.
Okay, thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it, buddy. Hey guys, it's Alex again with Detailing Solutions Podcast. I've got Brian from Duraslick here. He just competed in the paint correction competition. So Brian, what do you think, man? How do you feel?
I feel good. I saw my numbers, so I feel a little good.
Okay.
It was harder than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
the 5-minute mark got me a little.
That's what I was going to ask you. What did you think about that 5-minute mark?
It was-
we wanted a pressure, so
It was definitely pressure. Of course, with the audience and everything, it's a little bit more pressure, but I think I switched pads too many times.
okay.
I probably should have backed off on that, but overall, I feel good about what I did.
So you did a full 4-step. You cut with a rotary and a wool, then you step down to a foam pad.
Yeah.
Then you step down to a polishing pad. Then you step down to a jeweling pad.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you could have maybe done that in 2 steps or 3
I
steps?
probably could have, but after that first cut, I went with the wool pad. I probably should have went with the microfiber pad and cut it one time. But I had to get the cut marks from the wool pad out.
Right.
And then I had to step it back up. So it wasn't that much time with the microfiber pad, but I probably wasted a little bit of time there.
Nice. So any thoughts going forward? year, like next year, do you see anything like maybe we do differently, or do you like the way that it's set up now, and maybe you're just fine tuning stuff?
I like the way it's set up now, but I think that maybe if we could do it on a car would be better. But yeah, you can't sit there and cut on the car. So it's probably the best setup. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, I think you guys did a great job.
Well, listen, Brian, we appreciate you joining this. Obviously supporting Mobile Tech and the bike correction competition, coming from a brand. So that's what we're trying to get. I mean, we love to have kind of the everyday guys that are just in the shop, but like to compete against the guys in the industry. I think it's awesome, man. So
Yeah, it was awesome. Thank you.
Thank
man.
you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, great job. Hey guys, Alex again with Detail Solutions Podcast. I'm here with Joseph. So you're our third contestant. You're the first one to do DA only, and not only DA only, but battery powered Group SDA. So
Yeah.
how do you feel?
I mean, I feel great. I think I did as much as I could in such a short period of time.
Okay.
And with the products we had, it did throw me off that I wasn't able to use like the Roof Unit Protect, which is a sealant at the end, but it's cool. You know, yeah, I love it. I love it.
Okay. So in your process, like what were you kind of thinking? I mean, especially being that you were only going to use DA.
Yeah.
Most people have been talking about bringing multiple tools, rotaries, force
Yeah.
DAs and stuff like that. So what was your thought? Just like, hey, I'm just going to go with DA?
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I love buffing. I buffed over like 1,000 cars in the last, 7 years, right? And I just use the same system that we use all the time. It's either Menzerna, Rupes buffer, DA. We never put rotaries on cars. Like, it's ugly. I think it's a really bad idea. It's too hot. We keep rotaries for like boats and campers and stuff. And I know that my products can remove up to like 1,000 grit wet sanding paper marks, so I wasn't really worried about it.
Awesome.
But yeah.
So first year doing this, like, what made you want to jump in and give it a whirl?
Yeah, so it's my first year here at MTE.
Awesome.
I love competing, and I wanted to see like where my paint correction skills are, because in the detailing world, everybody says, "Hey, I'm the best," but I'm like, let's put it to the test. You guys did it in like such a scientific way too. You're taking all the numbers, and I was like, it's so ingenious what you guys did. I love that, and the competition just feels good.
So going forward into next year, if you were going to do this again, is there anything that you would want to see us do differently?
Not really. I mean, I think it would be cool to have the process go a little bit faster, but I feel like it's still cool to, take it slow. It feels so personal, and, my heart is still pumping from the competition because you get 5 minutes, you're staring at the clock, and it's intense, and so, yeah.
Last question, did the crowd throw you off any?
The crowd?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
No, I mean,
So you were good under pressure with the crowd.
because I put my AirPods in, like I do at my shop.
You
I play
just
music,
zoned out.
and I just saw the panel. I saw the time, just like a customer. The customer says, "I want this job done this way," and boom, and I'm like, "Done. Let's get it done."
Listen, Joseph, we appreciate you doing
Hey,
it.
thanks for having
Thank
me.
you, and good luck.
Thank you. See ya.
Hey guys, Alex again with Detail Solutions Podcast. I'm here with Alejandro. So man, you just finished doing the paint correction competition.
Yeah, I'm sweaty.
So you're sweaty?
Yeah.
So how was the pressure?
It was a lot, and we practiced too, and it's like it's one of those sayings, like you've heard it before. It's like you forget everything when you're there. That's kind of what happened to me. But
Yeah. So overall, how do you feel about
no, it was
what
awesome.
you did?
It was,
And-
no, I mean, I could have done better for sure, but that's what it's all about, right? You come to compete, pressure's on. Sometimes things aren't all nice and dandy, whatever.
How do you feel about the 5 minutes? Enough time? Not enough time?
No, I think it's perfect. Like I said, maybe some of us might overdo the first step or process and take a little bit more time than we needed, but I think 5 minutes is enough.
Awesome. So what kind of led you to sign up for this? I mean, obviously this is our first year doing this. What was it that stood out to you to sign
The
up?
first thing is like, why not? Why not do things like this? But also, it's a very competitive market here in Orlando, so anything to kind of step away from the competition, set myself a little apart. So
Awesome.
we love what we do, so that's why also another reason.
There you go. Well, Alejandro, I appreciate you for doing this,
Thank you.
supporting Mobile Tech Expo.
Thanks for having me.
And good luck tomorrow, man. We'll see. Hey, it's Alex again with Detail Solutions Podcast, and I'm here with Paulo from Owner's Pride, Canada. Oh, we're international, baby.
You got 2 Canadians in this.
I know, that's awesome. It's awesome. So listen, so you just finished. So how do you feel?
Awesome, man. that's actually what I was expecting.
Okay.
Like the time frame is cool. Like the system is perfect, and
Right.
having Jason monitoring this is top notch.
So let me ask you about the time, that 5 minutes. Do you feel like it's enough? Do you feel like it was just enough to keep you
It's enough.
on your toes?
Yeah, enough.
Okay.
I think it's like on the point.
Yep.
You have enough. I could have done it shorter, but having that window, and that window, it works really, really well.
So basically what I'm getting is next year we go 3 minutes. Yeah. Not joking.
Why not?
So what do you think overall about the competition now that you've done it versus the expectation leading up to us kind of presenting it?
I think that's exactly what we needed in the industry. So you gotta set up a standard, whatever that is. I think this is a great standard. Maybe just uniform the system. So same pad, same polish. Maybe that's one of the changes I would.
So that's something that we did look for, or we didn't look at maybe going into next year. We do a rotary only, we do a DA only competition. You know, maybe we do, I've talked about this kind of like a blind taste test where the bottles are unlabeled so you don't know what you're getting.
Exactly, yeah.
But again, like this first one, we wanted everybody to feel comfortable, have their own products, have their own stuff.
And I appreciate that because we talked about this, and this is exactly what we need.
Exactly.
Leave the egos behind and just work on the paint.
Exactly. Listen, the egos happen tomorrow at 4:30 when there's a winner. Then the ego can happen for the next 365 days.
100%.
Yeah, Paulo, I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you supporting MTE, especially somebody of your stature in the industry. Doing this just really helps out for all the other shop guys that are kind of getting into this, helping us out as well. People within the industry, definitely awesome. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Awesome. Alex again with Detail Solutions Podcast. I'm here with Dustin. So you just finished competing in the bank correction competition.
Yes.
How do you feel?
Oh, pretty good. It was fun.
So, leading up to this, you know, kind of what made you want to compete? Was there anything that we did that jumped out at you, or was it just competition?
Just competition. I like competition. I like doing the best I can do and comparing it to others.
So with the process that we have, obviously this is the first time and everything like that. How do you feel the process went for you? Was it really easy?
Yeah, it felt smooth.
So, if you were going to give a suggestion for next year, you got any suggestions for us?
Nothing I can think of. Nothing I can think of.
Nothing you can think of? Perfect. So, listen, Dustin, I appreciate you jumping in and doing this, supporting MTE, supporting the detailing industry, and hopefully this is something that you're back next year.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So, congratulations, or good luck, and thanks for doing this, man. Appreciate it. Hey guys, Alex again with Detail Solutions Podcast. I am here with Michael Millard. Hello. So you just finished the bank correction competition.
Yes. Pretty cool.
Okay.
Like the setup.
Okay.
The setup's really cool. Let people do their own stuff, do what they do is very cool. It gets a lot of the nerves out because I was nervous.
Yep.
But yeah, no complaints. I'm probably gonna I might cosplay next year to compete with the PDR guys.
There you go. Oh, dude. We haven't had anybody suggest that. That is something we should do.
So I might do that.
That's awesome.
For
That's a
next
good
year,
idea.
But I mean, everything is good. Given all the info online, because I did change my plan a little bit when I saw like the 1500 sand sanding mark. Okay, I need to come a little bit more prepared than what I thought.
So let me ask you this then. With everything that you saw online or whatever, is there anything that you feel like maybe we didn't have in there that we need to, as far as information-wise for next year?
The only thing might have been is it soft, medium, or hard paint, and adding that, because I know for me the brand of the paint meant nothing to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
if it's soft and medium,
that might have been my only critique.
Okay.
Other than that, I think everything was good. You got to read the email.
Yep. Read the email.
Read where it says get more info.
Right.
We got to read. I know detailers hate to read. but we gotta read. But if you read, you'll get all the info you need.
So let's go back to the nerves thing. You said you were a little nervous about it. So is it just the anticipation of like not really knowing, or is it the crowd space?
It's the crowd. It's the crowd space for sure. Just feeling like I tried to just dial in and not look up, but I felt like I saw people like crowding around.
It's hard because when you're in your shop, you don't have a crowd of people watching.
Headphones in, music's on, and you're done. But here it's like I'm hearing the PDR guys in the background. I'm hearing people laugh and talk, and they might not even be watching the competition. So it's just not getting in the zone. But other than that, it was awesome. This was great.
Awesome. So we got sequel. So so you said you'll cosplay for next year. So we'll see you next year.
I'll be here next year.
That's awesome.
I'm here every MTE for like the last 5 years. I'm gonna do it again next year.
Mike, I appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you supporting MTE and obviously the brand new paint correction competition. It's been a great start to day one, and dude, I wish you good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. I'm excited to see how I stack up. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, buddy.
Appreciate you, Alex. Thank you.
Alex with Detail Solutions Podcast is back again with Mike, who just finished. And Mike, 5 minutes goes fast.
Ooh, fastest 5 minutes in my life.
So, but overall, what did you think about the competition?
It was fun. Those big names. I just wanted to do it. I've never entered one before.
Gotcha.
So
okay. Yeah. So with the process, like, how did you feel about it? Is it very easy process to kind of get into? Like nothing kind of out of the
I mean, I think if you're at the level you're going to enter a competition, it's fairly easy.
Awesome. Yeah. And one thing I saw you do that I haven't seen anybody else is you actually used a pump sander to do some of your finishing down, correct?
Bow guy.
All right. I love it.
Same with checking the temperature. Dealing with, you can get the fiberglass really hot.
Right.
So I want to make sure I wasn't getting the paint too hot with the compound.
Awesome. That's awesome. So overall feeling, how do you think you did?
It doesn't matter. I'm just happy to compete. I'm happy to compete. That was fun.
Well, listen, Mike, we appreciate you for doing this for the first annual one, and good luck tomorrow.
I'll definitely enter next year if I don't win.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Let me grab that Mike. Hey, this is Alex on the Detail Solutions Podcast. I'm here with Don. It's another Canadian. Again, I told you this was an international competition. Even if it's just Canada, whatever. We love them. They're our neighbors to the north. So Don, what'd you think?
Awesome. It's something new this year. I love it. It get bigger and better each year. I'm sure it will. So
let me ask you this: seeing this and seeing that it was the first time and everything, what was it that made you want to sign up?
Just for the heck of it. You know what I mean? I wanted to showcase Labo Cosmetica products, of course. That's it. Just wanted to.
So how do you?
A bit of bragging right, I guess, back home.
How are you feeling with your pan?
Good. I think we did all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, being that this is the first year, if there was anything critique-wise that you see, like maybe we should change next year or do differently next year, what would you say?
I think at the end, the panel prep should be used to really show a real true correction, right? Panel prep is going to be the one that shows the real truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, everything's good.
It's good?
Yeah.
So, were there any nerves because I mean, obviously you got a few people watching you, and then of course there's a time limit. I mean, usually we're in our shops, we got headphones on.
It's a little bit of nerve-wracking in a way. I would have loved to bring my rotary, but coming from Canada, I can only bring one polisher. It's hard to do.
Okay.
It is not.
I heard you a couple of times saying like it's taking forever. I think you're the first person that said 5 minutes seemed like it was taking forever.
The 5 minutes seemed like taking forever.
There's been some other people that were like sweating that 5 minutes. So
no, I was like watching my time, and my first compound, my second compound was at 2 minutes in.
Right.
Then I was watching a 3rd minute in to do my medium, and my last minute I basically used on my finish.
Gotcha. Well, listen, Don, we appreciate you for doing this.
Not a problem.
Thank you for supporting MTE.
Absolutely.
Thank you for supporting the first ever paint correction competition. And thankfully, thanks for coming all the way from Canada. I know you didn't come here just for this, but you never know,
For sure.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, cool. All right, it's day 2. It's Alex with the Detail Solutions Podcast. We're at the paint correction competition, and we've got Mark all the way from down under Australia. So we had 2 Canadians yesterday. Now we got an Australian. Look, when I said it's international, we're international. So, Mark, first time at MTE from Australia, right?
Yes, that's right.
What do you think of the show so far?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's a detail is heaven.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then I know we were able to squeeze you into the paint correction competition because obviously you're from Australia and everything.
Thank you so much.
What do you think of it? Like, as far as the paint correction competition goes, what are your thoughts? How did we do?
No, I think it's great. The way how it's done and set out, it just shows you how good you are also too, and the results speaks for themselves.
Awesome. Now, I saw you brought your own stuff. Did you have some secret Australian chemicals?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at
Okay.
all. Just from the training over the years and all that sort of stuff. Always updating yourself and skills and things like that. So yeah, that's
Okay.
how I move on.
So what did you feel about the pan? How did you like the scuffing of the pan, the paint overall? Like, what were your thoughts?
The scuffing seemed to be very well even, and then while inspecting the panel of during the first stage of compounding things like that, inspecting it, finding out what's going on, see how it's reacting with the polish, and then just play along and see what's happening with heat and speed and movement, and move on to the second stage, which is the polishing stage.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, the 5-minute time limit, you ran pretty close to the end there with your polish. Do you feel like that 5-minute was a little too little, not enough, or do you feel like maybe it was just right and you just took all the way to the limit?
Well, I guess being the first time of using that panel, I guess the first stage was to find out exactly where I'm at, and then finding out what's going on, and then the last section of the panel was let's just refine, because I was stretching it at the very last second.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, listen, Mark, they're getting ready to do.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
It's not a thing to be mucked around, and not dilly-dally. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, they're getting ready to do the next one, so we want to get out of the way. We appreciate you coming all the way from Australia, supporting Mobile Tech Expo, and also the paint correction competition.
Yeah.
I wish you luck.
Thank you, Alex.
We'll find out later.
Yeah.
And I look forward to talking to you on the podcast later.
Okay, thank you so much.
We'll see you guys soon. All right, guys. Alex from Detail Solutions Podcast. I'm back with Anthony from NextZen. So, how'd you do? How do you think?
Well, I got really, really high numbers, they're telling me.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there was a little burn spot.
Okay. So you're the first person to burn through. Mike Phillips yesterday was talking about how hard this paint is.
Do I get a reward for that?
I don't know. Maybe we'll get you a burn through award.
And I dropped my towel, and I was looking for my towel, and I just got there.
So overall, what do you think of the competition? This being the first year, and us doing this.
I like it.
Okay.
The only thing I would probably recommend, maybe a little bit larger panels.
Okay.
Because in that 5 minutes, well, especially for me, you're going. So you do build up some good amount of heat.
Yeah.
But then again, you probably offset it with the amount of paint that might be on there.
Right. Exactly.
Unless I'm polishing it.
Yeah, because you're the only one to burn through so far.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I mean, obviously you've got a brand here at MTE.
Yes.
What made you want to do this?
Was that wombat ass? He actually entered me.
Oh, Mark?
No.
Oh.
Joel, the founder of NextZen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're NextZen USA.
Okay.
And jokingly, he sent a message like, yeah, he wants to win the contest. And then before I knew it, he sent me another message. I entered you. I'm like, oh, great. So, but yeah, it was good. It's fun,
Awesome.
And that's really what it's about. You're here at MTE, you're meeting great people, sharing ideas, all that good stuff.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I appreciate you doing it, even though you got thrown to the wolves.
all good.
It's nice to have the support from the brands in the industry with this, along with just kind of the everyday, detailers.
Yeah.
I think we have a pretty good mix of all of that, which I think is going to have a great turnout at the end. And we filled going into next year. I wish you luck.
Look forward to it.
And thank you so much.
All right, next year I won't burn paint.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys, it's Alex again with the Detail Solutions Podcast. I'm here with Mike, who just finished his time slot in the paint correction competition. So, Mike, how do you feel?
Man, I feel amazing.
Yeah?
Man, I had a blast doing this. Actually, for the first year doing it, I'm glad they actually brought this to the MTE show this year.
Thank you. So, what made you want to sign up for it?
So, I'm kind of new to detailing. I'm 3 years into detailing, and my skills I feel like are immaculate. So I just wanted to put them to the test against everybody else in the country.
There you go. So, now that you've done it, how do you feel about the competition as a whole? Because obviously, when we were first announcing this, there was a lot of questions. There was kind of a lot of like, whatever. So, doing it, how do you think we did?
So I think it's a lot of variables within this competition. I think it's great for the industry. Also, I think a lot of people actually started getting more into it now that going along with the dent competition. I think a lot of people started getting more into it. But I think as a setup, as the standard for it, I think it's phenomenal.
Awesome.
I think it'll get better along as the years will come.
Absolutely.
But for a first year, for a first start, I think it was phenomenal.
How did you feel about the 5 minutes? Good enough? Too rushed? Need more time?
I felt like I didn't need it, but I probably could have used maybe to like 7 minutes.
Okay.
I think that would have been a great gray area, but for competition-wise, I think it was perfect for.
And the overall pan itself?
Yes, the pan was great.
Awesome.
It was great.
Well, listen, Mike, we appreciate you for supporting MTE and the paint correction competition. Good luck. We'll find out at 4:30. And yeah, man, appreciate it.
Thank you all. We'll see you guys soon.
Awesome. Thank you. Alex again with the Detail Solutions Podcast, and I'm here with Tyler, who just finished his pan for the paint correction competition. So, Tyler, how do you feel?
Could have been a little better, but I'm happy.
Okay.
Jason was happy, I'm happy, so we'll see how we stack up.
Okay, so knowing that this is the first year for the paint correction competition and everything like that, what made you want to jump in and do it?
It's my first year coming to MTE as a whole. Or actually, it's my first professional detail anything. I did it for 15 years. I've never been to SEMA. I've never been to a training class.
Oh, wow.
I've never been to an expo. So I was like, if I'm going, let's do it. Why not?
Awesome. Awesome. So how do you feel about the setup, the pan, and all that stuff?
I feel it's good. Yeah, because that was my big curiosity was like, how do you control the variables?
Right.
And so the pan with the wet sand, like that's
exactly.
Good. Yeah,
exactly.
Yep.
So did nerves play into any part of this, especially because you had a nice little crowd watching you? It's kind of later in the second day.
It wasn't bothering me until I looked up and I'm like, seeing everybody. But no, just it's like you're in your shop staring at paint.
Yeah. And the 5 minute time frame. How did you feel about that?
Like when I first got into my cutting, I'm like, oh, we got plenty of time. And then you get to the middle zone, you get to that last minute, and it's like, and then I wiped off, and it was like I was happy, but I was like, you could have spent a little bit more time.
And that was kind of the thing, I mean, we're detailers. You could spend like 3 weeks on this pan, right?
Get closer and closer, and more lights.
Yeah. So we wanted to make sure that we obviously got it. We wanted a little bit of a tight crunch, but still have it be comfortable. So listen, Tyler, I appreciate you for doing this for the first one, supporting MTE and the paint correction competition honors. And good luck, man. We'll see what happens this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, Alex back again with the Detail Solutions from the Detail Solutions Podcast. I'm here with Onika, our first female competitor, our only female competitor, because we had another one that dropped out. So you jumped in kind of unexpectedly. So tell me,
unexpectedly.
Right. So tell me, like, not planning on signing up for this and jumping right in. How was it?
Nerve-wracking because Jackie came to me, that's over there. She said, Onika, no females have been entered. I'm going to root for you to enter. I said, well, if we get it, no problem. And she went around, she came up with it, and she said, Onika, I have everything for you to enter. How could I say no?
Exactly. So tell me a little bit, what do you think about the paint correction competition? Because obviously this is the first year we're doing it at MTE. Like, how do you feel about it?
For me, this is the first time I've entered a competition with regards to paint correction.
Okay.
When I'm doing paint correction, I usually move very slow. So it was very challenging for me.
Okay.
Definitely very challenging, but good idea.
Okay. How do you feel about the pan? Was it good to work with? Like, not like enough defects, but not anything too crazy for you?
No, it was perfect for me. It was perfect. A little small, but perfect.
And then the time frame, 5 minutes, was that?
Time frame is crazy. The time frame is crazy, but
we didn't want to make it too easy because listen, we all know detailers. We could spend 3 weeks on that pan to make it perfect.
Thank you very much.
So,
The the time frame is realistic.
Okay.
Time frame is very realistic because sometimes, you know, you are on a paint job and you just keep focusing on this one part that you think you're not corrected. So with the time frame, it makes you click, it makes you think.
Right.
Coming down to the end and you realize, okay, I just had 30 seconds and I just kept my eyes on the timer. Because if I watched it, that would have never happened.
Exactly. Well, listen, I appreciate you for jumping in and doing this. I know it was last minute. I'm glad that we did have a female competitor.
Of course.
Good luck.
Thank you.
I hope you do really well, and we'll see you at 4:30. Thank you. All right, guys. This is Alex again with Detail Solutions Podcast. And I've got Aaron, aka Noxie Knox, here, who jumped into the competition late because he was circling like a shark in blood-infested waters for the last day. So, first of all, thank you for doing this. I think somebody of your stature, how little it is.
I lost. I'll get you out.
Listen, so what do you think of the competition overall? Because I know initially you were going to help us do this, and then you couldn't, and so you kind of helped me along the way with some suggestions and stuff with our stuff. How do you think we did?
All in all, I love it.
Okay.
That's why I couldn't stay away from it. I wanted to see the intricacies of it. I wanted to see how it was being put together, the overall presentation. As you can see, everything is extremely calculated.
Yes.
Which is great. But more importantly, I think what this is doing for our industry and our culture is being able to be a little bit more excited and proud of what you do without being accused that you're just an egomaniac. We all want that sort of recognition, if you will, but I would rather know how good I am in this competition. And I look forward to seeing it in the future years because it's just going to give more people excitement, more people a reason to be in our industry and really dive into it. So,
what did you think of the pan overall as far as how the paint was, how it was scuffed and things like that? Do you think it was good enough or should we change it for next year?
I think the pan does its job. The defects and what's in it, sure, you can always maybe improve a little bit more, but all in all, I thought it was suitable for what we're doing.
Awesome. Now, knowing that this competition was going on, you didn't jump in, coming here and seeing it, what was it about seeing it live that just had you itching to try to get into it?
I think it's just the participation part of it, I just wanted to experience it, and it's always nice to be able to get in, experience it, get the EBGBs out of the way, and then at the end of the day, if I lose, I lose, and I'll take that with humility, right?
Right. So, listen, I appreciate you, Noxie, for doing this. Thank you for supporting MTE in the first ever paint correction competition. Good luck.
Yeah.
We'll see if you win.
Yeah.
I need that mic back. Alex again with the Detail Solutions Podcast. I'm here with Steve Persia, who just finished his time at the paint correction competition. So, Steve, first of all, I appreciate all the help and support you've been the last month or so with raising questions and raising awareness for this.
Yeah, definitely.
So now that you've seen it, because you've asked me all the questions, now that you've actually seen it, how did the presentation ahead of time meet the expectation of actually?
I think it was 100%. Everything that you said is how it is. It's amazing to see how everything is panned out, and the way that everything is tested is you really can't alter it, I would say.
Right.
So yeah, 100%. I think everything that was said before the event is dead on to what it is right now.
What are your thoughts on the pan as far as the paint, the way it was sanded, all that stuff freehand to try to make it even?
I know I saw some of the panels maybe were hand sanded. I know a couple other guys may have complained about it. Should have been machine sanded, but again, this is the first year. Can't complain about anything. Sanding marks are sanding marks.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter how they were put on
Exactly.
there.
Exactly. The 5-minute time frame. I know we kind of talked about that before. So how now doing it in the 5 minutes? Obviously, you had time to spare.
Yeah, I think 5 minutes is the perfect amount of time.
Okay, awesome. And then, were there any nerves in this? I mean, did you? I mean, you're ice cold anyway.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm the worst. I monotone the whole entire way out. But I think it's just because everyone's staring at you and you're doing things that probably they may not approve. So, but that's about it.
Awesome. Well, listen, Steve, I appreciate you for doing this. I appreciate
you setting this up.
Yeah, I appreciate again all the support that you did and all the different groups of trying to bring awareness to it.
Good luck. Your pan looked amazing. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And hopefully we'll see you next year.
So I'll be here next year.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. It's Alex again with the Detail Solutions Podcast. It is Bob from Carbright, and he's the last one. We're finally done. We had a blast.
That was fun.
Bob, what'd you think?
I just had a fun time. I seen it, going, and basically, I wanted to have some fun and, throwing the towels and throwing the headband. It was just something that just added something to the fun. And it's about the industry, and whether I win or lose, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's about having fun. I love the competition. I think it's pretty doggone fair.
Okay.
And I had a lot of fun. I really did.
So what'd you think about the pan setup? As far as how we painted it, how we scuffed it, how we actually had it set up and everything like that.
I'm a painter by field. I basically painted all types of paints. I do history of paints seminars. I did one on Wednesday on the history of paints. So I love painting. I love working on some of the single stage paints. So basically, I think that you guys did a great job as far as, it's not an exact science, I'm sure, but it's pretty damn close.
Yeah. And then as far as the 5-minute time limit, I know you actually didn't go all the way to your 5 minutes, right? You still had a couple
I had 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
So I thought I had more time, but Jason kept me on clue. But I thought I had a little more time, and really, I still had product on there with 10 seconds to go. So probably could have put a little more time in wipe down, but sometimes if you wipe it too much, it goes the other way.
Exactly.
I just wanted to get it off and get going, but I hope whoever wins, the best for them, and I just had fun. I don't know if anybody had any more fun than I did, I can tell you that.
Definitely had a big crowd. Did that put any nerves on you? Because you had people chanting for you and hooting and hollering, and of course, then when you were throwing the towels and the pads and everything, everybody was cheering.
Just trying to get the crowd involved, and I got a great support team with the detailers of the round table. There's an amazing group. Jason was very good with helping me keeping my time. And you guys Jason did a great job. Everybody did a great job. And I thought they were going to do the wave or something for a minute.
Well, listen, Bob, I appreciate you for all the support with Mobile Tech Expo and the first ever paint correction competition.
You did a great job, guys. You did a great job.
Thank you, and good luck.
I think it's going to go out. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, Bob. Alex Russell here with the Detail Solutions Podcast. I'm with Jason Rose. It is over. The paint correction competition is done. Jason, you helped us from the concept of this to execution. How do you feel? Did we check all the boxes? Did we do all the things we set out to do?
I think it went better than we expected, and usually the first time out on programs like this, a lot can go wrong, and we did have bumps in the road the first couple hours, like devices didn't cooperate, batteries, ran out, and little things like that, but we pivoted, we corrected those. We do have some things we want to fine-tune for next year, but overall, I think it went really well.
Yeah, and the feedback from the competitors has been really great. Everybody's been excited about it. They just were kind of like, hey, wanted to do it for fun, don't really care if I win. So I think that was kind of relieving, at least for me, because, everything that we talked about in planning this was to try and have as less negativity or concerns as possible. So
make it fun and make it fair. Exactly. Fair, make it fun. And one of the things that we did to just make it totally fair is we took the human eyes and the biases from human judges. We took that out.
Right.
So there was nobody looking saying, "Oh, that's the best finish."
Exactly.
We are using all electronics. We're using science. And we're using very specific finish quality measurements, so there's no opinion. It's a number. It's a fact.
Right. Even to the point to where the only contact from us really was just swapping the pans in and out. We didn't wipe them really. Yeah. We didn't do any of the metering. We didn't nothing. So again, we wanted to take out that possibility of
well, they did kind of thing. So, no, very excited. I want to thank you, Mr. Rose, for helping us out with this.
But this was really your dream. You drove this forward. You're the one that made this happen.
I mean, I took it over from somebody else, but yes, but I
So if you hate it and it's terrible, it's his fault.
Yeah. But I appreciate you and all the people on the committee who stepped up to help us do this. I appreciate you for actually being here in the booth both days to help educate everybody at exactly what is going on and how it works. And when they had questions about the machine, you were able to kind of explain that to them. So I look forward to working with you again on next year.
I'm really excited about next year.
I think we're going to have some better things for next year.
Yeah.
So awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, everybody, that is a wrap on the paint correction competition episode. I hope all this information answers all the questions that you guys have about the competition, how we did it, how it was put on, how it was judged, the feedback from the competitors with all of the interviews that we did in this episode as well. If you have any suggestions, any comments, Sheldon is actually putting up a suggestion box on the MTE.live paint correction competition website. So if you go to MTE.live, click on the paint correction competition tab, and there should be a section there where you can leave your feedback, comments. We really want to make sure that next year is even better than this year. So we will take those comments and those suggestions to heart and take them to the committee and try to put them in. So thank you so much for making the first year an awesome competition. I hope everybody that has FOMO on it is there next year. I'm excited to see what we do. I think we've got some great ideas, and we really need your guys' help to make this a thing. So that's the whole thing, man. It's for our industry. It's for our thing. Dental Olympics, PDR has the Dental Olympics. We have a paint correction competition. Whether you think it's a home run or not, like, let's support it. It's for us. And if you don't think it's a home run, suggestion box, please. All right, everybody. That's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Take care. Bye.